Alright guys, let's get into another video. And this video will showcase how Madden actually has part of bracket coverage coded into the game. So I got to tell you, like, I'm not lying to you. When I made this, when I found this, I don't think I was more shocked than any other thing that I found in the game of Madden. This made me the most shocked and surprised. So let's get right into this. Okay, this is cover one man, cover one hole, right? So he's the hole player, playing man to man across the board. And I've made prior videos on this where, originally you may think that when you call cover one man, that everyone is supposed to play with outside leverage. Okay, but I've made plenty of videos on this to where that is not the case. You have to know about these imaginary divider lines on the field and how you play in regards to inside or outside leverage is relative to where you are in regards to the divider. Okay, so since he's outside of the divider, these two players, relative to these receivers, you are supposed to play with inside leverage. And Madden actually has this coded into the game. So when you call cover one hole, he will play with inside leverage, and he will play high shoulder, and so will he. Okay, so that's in the game. That's a good thing. Okay, and because we are inside the divider, we're supposed to play with outside leverage. The problem that I have with Madden is that they play with high shoulder. Okay, when there's videos on Nick Saban talking about this where if you're inside the divider, they really want you to play with low shoulders. So there's videos on that. I'm not going to get into that. Okay, but at least they have the outside inside correct in regards to the divider line. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that definitely go check out those videos on cover one man. I don't want to go over that here. So why don't we go ahead and show this to where you can call cover one hole and they will actually play it correctly in regards to inside or outside leverage. So we call cover one hole. Here's the divider line, and notice how he's playing with outside leverage and he's playing with inside leverage, right? So that's a good thing. That's what we want. Okay, now I have outside inside, but I have inside high, and that's what we want. But I have outside mid because he's kind of like shoulder to shoulder with this player. But theoretically, we really want him to be more so like playing like low shoulder. Okay, but it is what it is. Okay, but let's just get to the point here. So I show irrelevant replays here just to kind of draw out the point. So maybe I should learn from that. Okay, and the thing is, I don't know if Madden is one of the things I don't like about Madden is they're not really transparent into what they have coded into the game. We don't know if they have it coded where theoretically, like in the optimal place, he's playing with high shoulder type technique or low shoulder, right? Because I don't know if it's because of your rating that they have it to where, okay, he's about to beat you over the top, right? Okay, if they were a little bit more transparent in how they have things coded, it would be a lot more easier for us to understand how things are in the game of Madden. We just know that they do have it coded where he's outside shoulder because he's inside the divider. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. I really just want to get to the point here. All right, so because if you look across the field, that guy looks like he was kind of like high shoulder. Okay, so now we are going to get into bracket coverage, and it hasn't been coded right into the game in 20 years. I've said this over and over and over again, and I was in total shock when I saw this. Okay, so I call cover one hole again, right? But this time I actually doubled him on the outside shoulder. I mean, on the outside receiver. And I did that to show how bracket coverage doesn't work in the game. And let's take a look at something here, okay? So I did that. He's man-to-man on the outside over here. So he's going to play with inside leverage on this receiver because he's outside the divider, right? He's going to play with outside shoulder, right? That's pretty cut and dry here. Right, so they have that coded right. We would like for him to be low shoulder. Not necessarily in this case if we took him to double someone on the outside, but theoretically in a cover one hole defense, right? But he's playing outside shoulder. The other guy's playing the inside shoulder. But pay attention to this. I was in shock when I saw this. Okay? We doubled him on this guy. Watch how he plays man-to-man defense. Remember, he's outside the divider, so he's supposed to play with inside leverage high. And we showed what they did in the last play. Watch how he plays man-to-man defense here. I'll go ahead and play it. Look how he's sitting flat. And he's not playing inside shoulder. He's playing outside shoulder. Low, right? And the reason why is because we doubled from someone from the inside. This logic is put into the game, where if you double someone in man-to-man coverage on a receiver on the outside, he will play low and outside. And the reason why is because he knows that someone is playing double coverage on that receiver, and he's supposed to play with high and inside. This is bracket coverage. So they actually have this coded into the game. And again, I like to build, we layer everything, right? So if this is in the game, then there's a lot of different things that you can create with different coverages, knowing that this is in the game, right? Let's take a look at something here. So at first I'm like, wow, is that actually in the game? Was that a fluke, right? So let's take a look at something here, right? So I was in total shock. We'll go ahead and move on. Hopefully I didn't make this too slow here. Because you always want to prove something as opposed to something being a fluke or man-to-man ratings, etc. Okay? And the whole reason why we always thought that bracket coverage wasn't in the game is because they both play with like the same outside leverage, or at least that's what it seems like. But that's not the case. Okay? The case is whoever plays inside always plays it horribly. So how do we fix that? Well, we just use this player. Okay? And I'll show you something here. So this time I manned him up on the other guy. Right? And that way we can make sure that they actually have that logic in the game, because when we man them up on this guy, you play with low outside leverage, knowing that you have help to the inside. But let's see how you play when we double the other guy, right? And as you see, because I'm doubling this guy will now play with outside low leverage, knowing that he has help to the inside, high inside. So the logic is in the game, right? There it is. He's not playing inside high because he has someone doubling from the inside. Now he's playing low into the outside. So they have a form of bracket coverage in the game, which is pretty exciting, you know, and it's kind of sad. So now we go back over here. Remember, when we doubled him here, this guy played with low and outside, but look what happens when we don't do that. He's doubling the other side. He's not going to play with low and outside. He's going to play with high inside the way he usually plays in cover one man. So this confirmed to me that this logic is in the game. So let's double this guy, right? What if the theory holds true? He's going to play with low into the outside, knowing that it has high and inside help, right? Usually when we play cover one man, he plays like mid into the outside, but let's see how he plays it. And look at that. You can tell how he sat flat, that he played low into the outside, low shoulder outside, because he has high inside help. We can take a look at this guy who wasn't doubled here, right? Because he was doubling this way. And in true cover one man, he's going to play with high inside leverage, outside leverage, the way that they have coded. I'm sorry that I'm fumbling over my words. And as you see here, you see how he's outside, but he's playing with high shoulder, the way Madden has it coded. Or I call it high or mid because I don't know how that, I just know that it's not low shoulder, right? But on the guy that we doubled, he's playing low shoulder outside. So this confirmed to me that they do have bracket coverage in the game. The issue is the inside defender. He doesn't play the inside shoulder of the player correctly. He plays it way too conservatively, and he gets beat to the inside way too much. Okay, so I was in shock when I saw this. Let's see what else did I show here. So I'm like, you know what? Let me check the other coverages? What if I play some type of other coverage like cover two? And what we're going to do is we're going to double this receiver. Now, this isn't a structurally sound defense, because if you double this player, right, and you just send this guy up the field, what's going to happen, right? Well, this guy's going to be wide open up the field. But I just wanted to see if this logic of the game is coded no matter what in whatever you play. And yes, it is. So we'll see it right here. Watch me double that outside guy. Watch how he plays. He should play with outside low leverage, knowing that he has inside high help. Look how he flew outside, and look how he's low and outside, right? So that logic is in the game. I had no idea. So then I went to quarters coverage. So I wanted to try it here. So I doubled this guy here. I wasn't concerned about this. This is not structurally sound at all. What I wanted to see, if you called like a cover four or whatever coverage you wanted to call, and you utilized a double coverage man, will this guy play with outside low leverage, knowing that he has help to the inside? And the answer is yes, he will. Right? Look how he's low and outside right there. So what does this mean? This means that we can do a number of different things in coverage, knowing that we have this bracket type coverage in the game. Now, is this perfect in the way it is in real life? Absolutely not, because I believe that they have it now. I'm going to make a lot of videos on this, I think. But let's say we have a double here. I believe they do it in real life to where, okay, if I'm playing outside leverage and you're playing, there's different types of bracket coverages where you have inside and out or under and top, okay? Where, let's say this guy runs an out. Well, then you would be hard outside, unafraid of him running back inside, knowing that you have help to the inside. You wouldn't be afraid of that. So you could be a lot more aggressive on the outside routes. However, this guy would be able to, like if he were to run like an out and up, they have different concepts to where, you know, you still have to top that route and play inside help. It's just like you're taking this guy pretty much out of access from throwing the ball from the quarterback, okay? So I got to make videos on that. I got to look up bracket coverage because there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. But in the game, I'm like, you know what? Let me try some different things. This is what I do in game, guys. Like when I play on mud or regs or whatever I do, when I run into coverages like this, I will run this same concept over and over and over again. I don't care if I get burned every play. I will run it every play so I can figure out how people interact with it, how it interacts with the game, and etc. I don't care if I lose 80-0 because I want to see how it works in the game, okay? And this is where, you know, you can kind of come up with different things that you can utilize in the game. So this is what I came up with in this game on the fly. I'm like, okay, he's running trips. What if we ran quarters coverage? So when you run quarters against trips, you're going to get a bubble here, right? And usually you're a 3-rec, and I'm taking the vertical of number 3, right? But what if we just man them up here, and I man them up here? So you're going to take outside and low of this receiver, and then I have inside high. And my solution to this player playing horribly into the inside is that you just always user the inside man-to-man defender. And what we can do is, if he goes out, then we just don't play that route at all. We can just know that he's going to play this aggressively to the outside. If he goes out, then we can look for work to the inside from other receivers. If he goes inside, then we can just take the route away, knowing that we have a true bracket coverage here, right? So let's pay attention to this real quickly. So we know we're Meg here, the bubble's here, right? So now we got a bracket on this player. And my plan was, if he goes out, then I could look for work elsewhere, knowing that he would play this aggressively to the outside. Okay, and I was so not used to this coverage because I've never really ran this in Madden that I missed a critical interception here, right? So this is good to just practice this stuff in real, like in actual games to see how people interact with it. So let's see what happens. So I'm the backside safety. And when I see this move right here, I know that, okay, you have outside underneath. I'm just not affiliated with this at all. And I was just looking at this the whole time. What should I have done here? Well, with him taking an outside release, I should have just pinned inside for this guy. Right? And you will see me miss a critical interception because my eyes were here. Because I was just like, well, how is he going to play that whip route? Look how he plays that whip route. Right? How many times have you guys seen that whip route against man-to-man coverage and it just burns it every time, right? But not when you have that bracket coverage called in, because now this guy's playing outside low aggressively. So when you run that route, he plays it so much better because he knows he has helps to the inside high, right? So if we see that as the inside defender, we can just ignore this guy knowing that our defender should play that very aggressively, and then we can pin inside for this route. Okay. Now looking at this, I wonder if I call palms because this guy's playing, seems like he's playing outside leverage on this guy. I'm not sure. But I missed an interception here because my eyes were on this, because obviously I'm just running this every single play to see how it interacts. And I was in shock with the different things that you can come up with this type of bracket coverage. Here's another example. You can do a lot of different things with this in the red zone against formations like trips, tight end, flex, right? With the tight end like this, what if we double the tight end, and obviously we use the inside defender, okay? And we're just going to play hard inside. If the tight end goes outside, this corner should just like dominate that outside route, right? Because he's playing low into the outside. That route should be gone, right? But if he comes inside, well, then that's when we take that route, right? So if he goes outside, we can help out on routes to the front side of the concept here, of the formation. And on the flip side of that, if he comes inside, then we can actually help on that route. This is where you could come up with like different rules within your coverage based upon how the receiver releases, what direction he goes in, etc. Right? So this is, again, I'm just throwing you ideas at your plate. So when I see him go upfield, look how he goes outside, and look how it's just not even there, right? You literally cannot throw that because, again, this guy's playing hard to the outside because we doubled this tight end, right? We're just using the inside defender because the computer plays it horribly when you do that. So, again, you can notice how I'm just looking at the whole thing and I'm not playing it correctly. I should have played front side knowing that I'm good on this side with him taking an outside release, and I could have helped out on the front side of the concept here. But I didn't because I'm just looking at the whole thing, right? I'm like, wow, this actually is pretty good. So I think I will leave it at that. I maybe we'll make another video with this. Now, this isn't something that you can run every single play. You know, here's another example. I'll show you another example where I ran into this. Again, I was running this like all the time, where I called cover one hole, and I'm just going to man-to-man on this guy here. So we're doubling this player here. So what I'm thinking is, okay, if he runs an outside route, I'm just going to ignore him as a safety, and now I'm going to look at the number 2 and double him, right? Let's see what happens. Look how he sat flat and outside. But however, the number 2 ran a corner route, right? He ran the same play. So we'll watch this play again. Look how he's low, looking to play outside leverage, knowing that we are supposed to help to the inside, right? Problem is the number 2 ran a corner route. So he had like a smash type concept with the 1 and the 2 from that trips type concept, trips type formation. He ran this play earlier on in the game, and watch what happened here. I ran the same play, except I doubled the deep receiver on the number 2, right? So the logic comes into the game where, okay, I have a double, so now I'm going to play outside leverage and low on this receiver. You see how he's sitting flat now? Now he's playing outside low shoulder, and look at the difference here when he tries to throw this corner. It's not there, right? So very same play, different results, based upon how the man-to-man coverage is played on the outside. Again, because of the logic that they have in the game when you call a bracket type coverage. So I've been playing around with this. I'm just throwing this on your plate. So this is something that you guys can try to implement into your game. And maybe there is something that you can come up with. You can call quarters coverage, palms coverage. Again, this is where we get into the mode of knowing the rules of a coverage and then tinkering around with the rules and the adjustments in the coverage to make and create your own coverages, right? So now that we know that bracket coverage, or at least a part of bracket coverage is in the game. Now, granted, they don't have it the way it should be in real life. So maybe I'll stop it somewhere. Let's move forward here. Okay, so if you were to call, I have a true bracket on this guy, where he goes out, and he's playing hard to the outside. Well, you know, I think they have bracket coverages to where, you know, if he goes out, then you stay high into the inside to cushion if there was a double move, right? Okay, essentially, whenever you play like a bracket coverage on a guy, he should just not be accessible to the quarterback at all, right? Madden doesn't have that, but, you know, they still have this logic in the game to where if you manually double this receiver, this guy will play differently. That's the whole point of the video, okay? And then maybe you can come up with your own rules and different coverages if you implement this to kind of help you out in different formations that you deal with in the game. So I will leave it at that. Maybe that's not the best explanation that I can give. I could have gave a better explanation, but I think that this was very important to kind of throw at your table. So, you know, maybe you can try around different coverages in the game to see what you can come up with. So I'll leave it at that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.